You're watching the Norfolk Southern Sherwood Subdivision. In today's video, we are going to see the Sherwood Turn. The turn in railroadese is an out and back trip. The train you see is approaching Sherwood. It originated in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's got several cars to drop off in Sherwood and in the grain facility that you'll see in a moment. The train is stopped, reason being the approaching intermodal train that is heading for the Sherwood Inland Port. So our train is going to wait here until the approaching intermodal train comes by, which will in a moment. Here it comes now. And its destination is the Sherwood Inland Port. Its origin was from an East Coast port. It's coming here to the Sherwood Inland Port to get its customs duties and inspections done. So as it goes by, it will head off to the Sherwood Inland Port. Meanwhile, now it's cleared the turnout, our train can proceed. And as it rounds the curve in Sherwood, let's have a look at our train. Lead engine is the GP40-2, followed by the two boxcars that you can see there. Their destination is the industries in Sherwood. The Frisco car, the yellow car that you see, the third car on the train, is a buffer car. We have an operating rule that the tank car that you see behind it cannot be the first car or last car in the train, and that will come into play in a moment. The remaining three cars, as you can see, are grain cars. Their destination is the local grain facility. We'll be switching that in just a moment. The curve that you see in front of us is the lead to the Sherwood yard. So when we get past the turnout that you see there, we'll be backing into the yard. Train stops, throw the switch, go in reverse, and we will back into the yard. When we get to the yard, we'll be dropping off, or disconnecting, the front two cars because they are intended to be switched here at Sherwood. We'll exchange those for two box cars that are sitting at the industries. Now we're entering the yard now. We're going to place all these cars on this track here. Later on, we'll be doing a runaround move to push those cars over to the grain elevator. But for now, they'll just remain here and be out of the way. should be good enough right there. First task will be to do pickups. We're going to pick up the two cars you see here, get them out of the way, and place the two cars that are connected to the locomotive right now in their place. So it's a standard rule, do your pickups first, then your setouts. What we're going to do here is I'll leave these cars here for a moment, but not for very long. We're going to do our setouts, and then we're going to move these cars way down there. And the reason for that is we need room to make a runaround move later on. Move this one slightly forward. Now we're nearly done here in Sherwood, at least for the time being. What we're going to do, I'm going to take these two cars and put them way down there. The reason for that is we need room to make a runaround maneuver later on. If they're in the way here, that would impede the runaround maneuver. So this is where they're going, way down at the tail track. Okay. We completed our pickups and drop-offs in Sherwood. Now normally you would think, well, we'll just take these grain cars and put them over to the grain facility. The problem here is space. There's no space in the grain facility to do switching, and it does not have a runaround track. So essentially what we're going to do from now till the end of the session is shuttle back and forth between here and the grain facility. So we're off to the grain facility. Having run engine light over to the grain facility, which we are now approaching, what we're going to do, we're going to pick up 3 loaded grain cars, take them back to Sherwood, take 3 empty grain cars, put them where the 3 loaded grain cars were. So we've now done our pickups, and we're going to use those 3 cars as a handle to pick up the 3 grain cars that will be placed in the loading area. Then we made our reversing move. The 3 grain cars that were in need of being loaded are now going to be placed in loading area. The 3 cars that were already loaded will go back to Sherwood and ultimately back to Charlotte. At this point, the train will go back to the Sherwood yard with its pickups, and we'll see what happens there when it arrives. As we can see, our train is now re-entering the Sherwood yard with the loaded grain cars that it picked up. The mission at this point is to drop these loaded grain cars off, do a runaround move, take some empty grain cars and our propane car back to the grain elevator. So this is where the runaround move takes place, and you can see that's why we moved those box cars out of the way. Okay, we're beyond the point where the runaround can occur. Drop these cars off here. Make our runaround move. And we're going to connect to the remaining cars that are going to the grain facility. And as we're leaving the yard, we see we have 5 cars in our train. The buffer car, and you see why it's a buffer car now, because it is now the first car, the last car in the train. The buffer car is going to come back with us. The remaining 4 cars are going to be placed over the grain elevator. And we'll return to the grain elevator in a moment. And welcome back. You can see our train has made its way over to the grain elevator. And we got to do one thing now, and that is stop and change our switch position. Because we're going to drop off our buffer car, and the switch had to be aligned properly to do that. And we're going to drop the buffer car off where the cars in the loading facility are already present, the ones we put there last time we were here. So we'll back out of there, change position of the switch. What we're going to do, we're going to go way down here to our loading platform and drop off the propane car. The remaining 3 cars will be placed on the track in front of us. We'll pick up our buffer car and we'll be headed back to Sherwood. And we've disconnected from our grain cars, and we have to pick up our buffer car. After we've done that, we're going to take a trip back to Sherwood, reassemble our train, and go back to Charlotte. A little too frisky with the throttle there, didn't I? Oops. Excuse me, didn't mean to do that. Now we've hooked onto our buffer car. Got to disconnect it from these other cars. And off we go to Sherwood. And that completes our switching of the grain area. As our train leaves the grain area, we'll run over to Sherwood and we'll see you when we get there. Well, welcome back to Sherwood. Our train's approaching the Sherwood yard. We'll do some last minute switching here, perform one more runaround maneuver, and head out of town and go back to Charlotte. So one thing we have to do, you'll notice we've got potentially cars on both sides, both ends of the engine. We're not going to go back to Charlotte like that. So what we are going to do is we're going to take our buffer car and we're going to leave it right here. We're going to pull forward, which is backward actually. We're going to collect these 3 cars. Push them all the way down to here. Collect those 2 box cars that we left there. Pull them forward, do a runaround maneuver, and get out of town. So to do the runaround maneuver, pull beyond the turnout, go the turnout, reverse, pull into the back of the waiting cars, collect our buffer car, and head back out to the main, reverse, and go back to Charlotte. Now you notice we're going to go back to Charlotte, long end first. We'll call that a tradition of the Norfolk and Western. They used to run their locomotives always long end first. And the obvious reason we had to do that is there's no locomotive turnaround facility here in Sherwood. So we're just about to enter the main. As I said, we're now going to highball it off to Charlotte. That's the whole Sherwood Turn. Thank you for watching.